Welcome, everyone. You're tuning into Engaging Walk. My name is Drake.
And my name is Rubie.
We believe in the power of walking together and talking together.
It's a simple act to stay connected, and movement is key.
So this week we are going to be continuing on in our intimacy discussions.
Part 2.
And we're going to be doing nurturing the relationship through small gestures and surprises.
Mm-hmm. And we take this walk during Miramar Lake. If you've not been there, it's a beautiful lake.
And again, we want to thank all of our listeners, subscribers, everybody that's taking notice of the podcast, whether it be on YouTube, Pandora, Spotify, wherever. We thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for tuning in. All right, so let's dive into the content. So we're on the second part of intimacy.
Yep.
And this portion is going to really highlight these small gestures.
Excuse us. So a lot of people think about, a relationship through their grand experience, like ceremony, anniversary, and but for long-term relationship, statistics show that sincere words actions, caring thoughts, it's really matter most, and it's playing a big part in ensuring, the happiness and well-being of the couple.
Yeah, I think that would make sense because you can't make these grand gestures all the time. Mm-hmm. And they might pop up, in the earlier part of your relationship or sporadically, but those things aren't sustainable. You can't every week buy your spouse a piano or
it's true.
Or take them to Las Vegas for a vacation every week. Maybe some people can, and good for you if you can. Mm-hmm. But that makes sense. That what would be sustainable is small actions, small gifts, words of affirmation, like going into a lot of those love languages.
Yeah, the 5 love languages.
Going into those 5 love languages and drawing from them to tell your partner that you care, and to rejuvenate that that message every time.
Mm-hmm. Also help them insulate your connections during conflict and maintain happiness with the relationship. And then when we take time to actively listen to your partner and empathize with their perspective and show interest in their life and their hobbies, is really create the environment of mutual respect and understanding. And that is what we want, the deeper intimacy with each other, And talking about that, I can, reflect on our relationship when I started dating Drake. And I remember that I was so sick. And that time, I think that was second time or third time that we went out.
It's pretty early on in our relationship.
Yeah, and I was so busy at that time. And to be honest, I was not that, think this relationship go far because I was focused on my career and I went to very busy time. So everything crunching, and this guy popped up in my life and I was like, okay, I try to talk to him or, hang out with him once a week. I told him I'm so sorry. This is the only thing that I can, available for. But anyway, so he about to went out for underway. For you that you don't understand, not familiar with the underway, that means the ship in the Navy goes out for a mission. We don't know how long. So for me, I have no concept of that. I just okay, he on business trip. Bye, see you. I'm busy. Cool, awesome, But then I was sick. I went out I can't see you before you go. I'm so sorry. And I said, no, I really want to see you. I can take you, out for soup or whatever. So I said, fine, I try. So, but when we went on, excuse me. When we went out for a ride, he gave me a card, and I was surprised. Was not my, my birthday or anything. But he just I just have a gift, a simple card for you, and he said, yeah, open it. My culture, we don't open gifts until at home. But for him, no, I want you to open it. So I opened it, and this sweet guy bought me a card, and then he wrote it with his own handwriting and cursive. I was impressed, okay, because a lot of people not really know how to write cursive anymore. So, anyways, he wrote, how he appreciate me, and how, as just who I am, and that's it. Very simple, but super sweet, and it's a very simple, like, but then along the way of relationship where sometimes we don't have to face a conflict, which has happened to us during the getting to know each other, but it's that sweet memory always like so genuine. I can see his heart, and how to just want to communicate with me that, hey, I want a connections with you, and his sincere heart, it just meant so much. And excuse me again. And I know that sometimes your spouse did something nice to you, and he may think, oh yeah, by looking at my response to his car, is he have his own understanding how I receive it. But once he hear how I appreciate him using my own word, I think it just clear out even more, and even like more appreciation from him. Like, does it make sense?
Yeah, I think particularly that aspect where talked about in like the study about like insulating your relationship during conflict. That as time goes on, things pop up in the relationship, arguments, disagreements, differences of perspective and whatnot, and we have to always come to a place of how do you put it, of expecting the best or assuming the best in our partner. That like, hey, they're not trying to get me, they're not trying to make me look stupid, they're not trying to do anything bad. It's just something's going awry. Something is going in a way that that's not working right now, and we have to fix that. But that doesn't mean that they're coming from a place of trying to sabotage or hurt. So we have to go in and assume the best and assume the best intentions from our partner. And I think going through a lot of those types of events in your relationship where helping it helps with those little things.
Yeah, but
So
I
you
have
can
a question.
say yes.
Do you talking about small gesture? What was the small gestures that I've done?
In terms of small gestures, well, a lot of them occurred during when I was on the deployment.
Ooh.
So Rubie took the time to make like a care package for me when I was on deployment, and it was filled with like so many little things that were really helpful, and like little notes, and she wrote like "I love you" on all of them, and like lots of little pictures. And like one of the pictures that will always stand out is like this photo that had "I love you" written in our different languages on the border. One said like "on you" or "mu."
Everyone, it's
"Mu
like I
an"
love you in Vietnamese.
in Vietnamese, "agapimu," which is my love in Greek, "I love you." And on the bottom it says like D and R with like a little heart.
Yeah.
So then she also gave me a couple of books for me to read. One of them I'm still reading. Like I read through it, but deployment reading is not like very like attentive reading, because like usually when I get back to my rack and I'll like read the book, and it's I got like the little rack light and I'm reading the book, and then
It's suffocating.
yeah, I end up like falling asleep with like the book right in my face. But so that's a book that like I still have at my desk that I peruse through and read. And it's a really great book about discovering like faith in God as a man in particular. And but yeah, so she had a lot of little gifts in these care packages that meant a lot, and they had so much attention to detail and so much love in each gift that I keep them around my desk. I still have like all the bags that she gave me, and so anytime I'm at work,
bags?
yeah, they're all like little like in Ziploc bags that had notes on them.
Oh yes, I remember.
They all had little notes on them, so I keep them at my desk. I use them to organize my tools.
That's cute.
Or like little tools that I have to use for work, and so that way, like each time like I go to work, like I have all these little memories of of the things that she had sent me. And then there's also not just like gifts and things like that, but there's also like little gestures of like sometimes I come home and like she's like, hey, what do you want for dinner? And like the dinner's ready, or like little things like one of the major things for me would be like having laundry done by the time I get back home, because Ruby knows how much I hate laundry.
Yeah.
So that's a big one. And let me think. Let me think of anything else. Oh yeah, here's another big one. Is Ruby? This happened a lot more when we had first moved into the apartment, like after we got married. And so when I would leave to go to work, and I'd come back home because Ruby at that time couldn't work, so she was home. I'd come back home and like the whole house would be different. Like things would be organized in such a way, like there'd be like these little plants all over the place. It was during an underway. I came back home and the whole house looked completely different.
In a good way.
In a good way. And, like she had turned the house that we had, or our apartment, into a home, and it felt like a home by the time I got back. And I really appreciate her touch and the things that she did.
Yeah. And talking about the small surprises, I don't know if you guys see the videos that where a wife will hold a bouquet and then stand in front of the door and wait for the husband, and then as the moment of husband come in, she would just stuff that bouquet into his hand and then shove him out the door and close it, and then just pretend that. And then so as a response, they were like, what the heck, what happened? So they trying to open the door and enter in. And now he entered in with a bouquet. So she was like, oh my goodness, you bought me a bouquet. Oh, so sweet, And that is a video. And that's cool. Actually, I do like flowers. I'm not flower girls. And so he tried to bought me flowers. And I told him like, no, I'm good, because I feel like I'm not good with flowers, and it just dies too fast on me with me. So, anyways, but I still, after watching those videos, I'm like, oh, surely I want flowers. And then somehow, I think I didn't send it to you, the clip. I just mentioned to him like, hey, I think I do like flowers, and then that's it.
She mentioned to me, we were in bed, and she was like, I know. She was like, why don't you get me flowers anymore? And I was like, because you told me not to get you flowers. And she was like, okay, but you can still get me flowers like here and there.
Yeah, tip number one. So even if I say like I don't want flowers, sometimes once in a while, just surprise her with that. Anyway, so he came home one day. I was sick again. I'm still sick.
She's been sick for like a week.
Yeah. And then so he came. So sorry if I cough, thank you for your patience. So anyways, he came home, and then he came home with, food that he wanted to prepare dinner because, I'm sick. But also he came home with flowers, with roses. I'm like, oh, what? No way. So even just a small, gesture, some small surprise, it meant a lot. Like he cares, So yeah, surprise your spouse, especially things that that they like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you go periodically without realizing that, like, hey, we're sort of like in a routine. We're in a routine, and I haven't done anything special with my spouse in a while, or I haven't done anything special with my wife or my husband.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can always do like a small gesture, either be like planning a little date or going out and doing something, bringing something home that you don't normally bring, or
like a dog or a cat. Just
dog,
kidding.
a cat, flowers. A little gesture of knowing like what your spouse wants, and
Yeah.
showing that you're listening to them and you're paying attention to their wants and their needs, I think really goes a long way.
Yeah. And it's so fun because, like, hey, my best friend know what I want, so it's kind of cute. And that's how, the fires keep going. And just so you shared that I wrote like notes on pretty much every single thing. Do you know where it's come from? So I I usually collect ideas that I think other couples did to each other. It's so cute, and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna adopt this. So my friend, her parents leave notes like randomly, like in the drawer, in a cupboard, and then they just, if for example the mom will travel somewhere, and he knows that the dad will be home with the daughters and sons, and they will go around the house and do it. So she was secretly, before she fly out, she will put notes on things so that when he gets stuff and move around the house, he will find notes like, hey, I love you, hey, have a good day. It's so cute to hear it. So I'm like, I'll adopt that. So I encourage you, if you see other things, tips that you think, oh, it's got so fun, I want to adopt that into my relationship, do it, make it more fun.
Yeah, there's nothing that says you can't ever borrow from other successful couples.
Yeah, I would do it a lot. Yes, I would do it.
All right, I think that's going to wrap it up for this week's content. We are going to be continuing on in our intimacy series. So we want to thank you guys for tuning in and making our podcast part of your day. So we hope that you can take our engaging walk and incorporate it in making your own, and utilize like some of the stories and advice that we have about using small gifts, small gestures to spice up your relationship.
So for this week assignment, find out or share with your spouse, your partner, that small gesture that they have done to you, and how did it feel for you, and the surprise gift that they did to you too.
Yeah. With that, we also want to thank you guys for tuning in, and we want to thank you for letting us make our podcast part of your day. And we hope that you can take in some of the advice and stories that we have from Engaging Walk and incorporate it into your relationship, and further build on that foundation in your relationship, which will, like we talked about last week, paid really huge dividends later on.
Yeah.
In your in your walk together through life.
Yeah, so stay tuned for next week episode, and when we will discuss the part 3 of Intimacy series, showing appreciations and gratitude toward each other. And don't forget to follow our follow button, from Instagram, Facebook, and Spotify, and also rate us on those platforms. And this is Drake and Rubie from Engaging Walk, and we are signing out. Bye.